So I had a request on the forum to create another video on the twisted bar that I did some time ago, only this time having a bent leg on each end. So something similar to this, we're going to create a twisted bar with a bent leg on each end. So I'll be going through the steps on creating that. It'll be a half twist with a radius bend on each end and a leg. And then some parameters in there so you can control the height from this face to this face in the vertical direction. So let me get started on it. First step we're going to do is we're going to create the step or the twisted part first. So on the YZ plane, I'll start a sketch and hit R for shortcut for a rectangle, and then an M for mid-plane, and I'll grab that top line and the origin. So now I've got that constrained to the middle of that line. So some dimensions on here. And for this example, we'll have let's say a 1/4 bar. So this thickness here, I'm going to make this 0.125, which is going to be half the thickness of a 1/4 inch bar. And then we're going to extrude this. I'll helical boss this, and our axis will be this axis, the x-axis, and we're going to go from height and pitch. We're going to go height and revolutions. So we're going to start off this at say 5 inches, tab down to 0.5 for the revolutions. So now we have a half twist in this bar, which is actually half the bar right now. So we'll okay that. And then we'll come up here to our circular pattern, grab the helix, change this to a copy or instance of 2. Center is going to be that axis, and make sure we have total instances are going to be 2, and then okay this. So now we have our quarter inch bar with a 1/2 inch twist. The next step on the XY plane, I'm going to activate another sketch, and we're going to go to a 3-point arc, start, end, and radius. So we'll just start this on the origin, come out here and just kind of sketch that in line or place it there. And then we'll have a line coming off of this. And now we'll do some constraints here. We'll pick this one tangent, hit shortcut key as T on that, at least on my system. And then we'll be tangent to the axis. And then we'll dimension this. Let's give this a 1 inch radius and an angle here of 45, and we'll dimension this line here at 2 inches. Okay, now while we're here, I'm going to do a couple of parameter setups here. So double click on the angle 45, double click and go to the FX, and we're going to rename this, call this the leg angle, and okay that. And then this one will same thing, and we'll name this one leg length. Okay, and then this one, we'll rename this one bend radius, and we'll okay that. Okay, so now these are going to be our default lengths or parameters for this leg. Then we can deactivate this sketch, and then we're going to put a sketch on this end face. Right click, activate a sketch. Select the face and project sketch. Maintain association selected. and click OK on there. And then we'll go to our sweep function, sweep boss, and our sketch to sweep is already selected, and our path is going to be sketch 2, and there's our completed sweep, and just click OK. Now on the opposite end here, again, we'll right click on the XY plane and start a 3-point arc, and then another line. We'll do a line up here, and it looks like, okay, we're tangent there already. Now we're going to do some constraints. We'll put a constraint on here, coincident between this end node and one of the edges of the end here. Now it's split here. It's a short line because there's two features here. There's the original and then the rotated copy, the patterned copy there. And then we need another coincident between these two nodes. There we go. And then again, we're going to do tangent from this arc to the axis. And now we're going to dimension this angle here. We get an angle here, angle between these lines. Now hit FX here, and over in this side in the equation editor, we're going to just select the leg angle and OK that, and OK this. For this radius, we're going to do the same. We'll hit FX and go to the bend radius, select that, and OK. And then the leg length, hit FX, and we go to leg length, and OK that. And then deactivate the sketch. Okay, now on this end face, we'll right click on there, activate a sketch, then select the face, project to sketch again, maintain association, and check the OK button. And then we'll go to our sweep boss, and where our sketch to sweep is pre-selected. Go in here for our path, select sketch 4, and there we have sketch 4. Okay, and there we have our part offset at an angle. Now the next step here, we need to set up some parameters so that we can determine and plan for, or at least adjust the height from this face to this face in a vertical or normal direction to those faces. So on the XY plane, we'll start a sketch, and then we're going to grab an edge here. We'll just project and maintain association on that edge. And then on this edge, same thing, maintain association. Oops, looks like we forgot something here. Maintain association, and OK, there we go. Now, let's put a dimension on here from that line to this line, and it comes up as a reference dimension. But if you select parameter and OK this, now we have a parameter that we can, we double click this, so we can't do anything with the equation editor here, but we can open the equation editor and we find where that parameter is. It says driven, and here we can key in this H. We'll just put a parameter of height in here and OK that, and deactivate our sketch. Now here's the tricky part of this thing. If we open up our equation editor, if we want our height to be a certain value, then we need to adjust our helix length. So let me back up here. We'll go to our helical boss, and we'll edit this, and we'll go to our height here, and here we'll rename this twist length. Okay, and that's going to be what we adjust. Okay, I'll load all the way out of that and rebuild it. Okay, now in the equation editor, we want our driven length, say, to be 5 inches or 4.5, whatever. Now we're going to find our twist length is at 5. We need to increase this so that we can get our length here. So if we want to go to 4.5, let's see what happens if we go to 5.5 on our twist length. And now close that. And now our driven is 4.75, so we're getting closer. This is 5.75. And okay that, let it rebuild. Check our equation editor again, and our driven length is 4.902, so we're getting in the ballpark. So about 5.81. Go to 5.812, okay that. And rebuild it. Now our driven is 5.94. And through a few steps, now we're at 5.9, and our driven length is 4.008. So we're right on the, as far as tolerance is concerned, we're probably right on the money for the height from this face normal to that face. So that gives you parameters that you can use for adjusting the height. Okay, there's a couple other things now. Say you want to round off the ends here, we'll just go in here. We say we're 1 inch wide, so we'll grab these edges here, and we're rounding that to a full radius end at a 1/2 inch. So now you've got somewhere you can put a hole through here that's going to be in the center of this bend, or center of the radius end. And if you wanted to finish it off with taking the edges off of there with a fillet on the edge, 0.03, say 30 thousandths on there. Now it's not going to propagate the end because it's going to choke right here in this point where it comes around and contacts the twist and the bend, because it's not, there's no tangency between those features. So what you can do, if you wanted to fillet that by selecting, turn off your previews and all, that's all going to be selected. Then you can select this edge, and then come down here and select this edge, and then this edge here, and apply. And that's still not going to fillet. Let's see what's going to, what's the reason? Oh, it's a little bit big. Okay, cancel. And that status is blends must be the same width at 4 edge mixed. So yeah, because of the these edges where it joins together here is pretty complex, it's not going to fillet very nice. So here's the way around that. If you notice, when you put your cursor on these edges, there's the twist is going 2 different directions. Here this is coming down to this edge, or this side of the twist, and on this side it's going up. So you're basically splitting this joint or edge into 2 pieces. So to fillet that, let's say we put a 0.25 fillet in here, and we're going to grab this edge here. So notice that's going to be concave there. And then on the opposite face, we'll grab this one. And then on the bottom, we'll grab that side and this side and click apply. And then on this side, we'll have another fillet on each one. And click apply on there. Now the other side point you're going to have a problem with is between this face and these faces. So again, you want to have fillet, and you can use the same parameters here, but we'll grab this edge here and this edge there, and then on this side it's going to be the opposite surfaces, and there, and then the other two edges on this side, and then up at the top and click apply. Okay, now if we wanted to do a 0.03 edge fillet around the whole thing, now it's going to travel around the whole part so that it's got one fillet to clean up all those edges. So there you go. Now here's the other thing. If you want to change this angle from 45 to something other than that, you can change your bend angle. Say you wanted 60 degrees in here. So change that to 60. Let it rebuild. So now you've got a 60-degree bend in here. But when you do that, take a look at your driven length. Now you're changing your height here quite a bit. So now you have to come back and change your twist length. If we come back here to 5 and okay that, and our length now, height is 5.58. So now your twist length is going to be less than 5 to get back to your 5 inches high or whatever. But by playing with these values in here, you'll be able to adjust your the height of your part from face to face, and that should give you a part that you can use. The only thing I didn't do here would be add holes. So if I come in here and say add a hole, and we'll put a concentric constraint there, extrude, go through all on there, and then on this side add another hole, 0.25, and another concentric constraint, and another extrude through all, and there's your part with mounting holes, and then you can save it out to wherever you need. So turn off the planes, and there's your completed part. So anyway, hope this gives some ideas for designing your twisted pipe, twisted bars, and good luck. Talk to you in the next one.